This week on ACC TV, I'm giving you the three key strategies to growing your email. This week on ACC TV, I'm giving you 3 key strategies to increase the amount of sales that are coming from your email list. These are strategies that are proven, that have worked for not only me and my clients, but that are easy for you to implement and start using today so that you can start utilizing email. Now, one thing I never jump into, because I talk a lot about email marketing, and I got this question the other day from a client. One thing I don't typically jump into is why you want to build your email list. Well, the client that I was talking to owns a drainage company, and he has built a huge following on YouTube. And I immediately said to him, you really need to start moving those people to an email list. And he looked at me sort of stargazed and said, why? Why would I need to do that? And here's the simple reason. Any sort of social media platform that you have access to and that you are on and you are building a following or you're building an audience with is not controlled by you. YouTube is owned by Google. Google is owned by Google. Facebook and Instagram are owned by Mark Zuckerberg. Twitter is owned by someone else. So you get the idea. All of these social media platforms are not yours. They are rented space, rented property where you can go out and build a list. Well, what happens is those people are in business to make money. Shocking, not shocking. And so they're going to do what's in the best interest of their company to make money, which means they often change the rules, and they change the rules to benefit them, not you. And so what you are setting yourself up for is potential business disaster if you're not growing your email list. When you put people in your email list and you start nurturing them and you start feeding that relationship, it is much easier to move people to purchase products. Does that mean you shouldn't sell products directly from social media? No, you should definitely do that. But just make sure you are in control and capturing the information from those purchasers so that you have it down the line if they change their minds, and they always change their minds. So you might as well just be prepared. So today's episode specifically is going to give you 3 strategies that you can utilize once people are on your list and to move them forward to purchasing from you or becoming a customer or client. If you're new to the channel, I'm Elisa Connor, and I come to you every week pretty consistently to share small business marketing tips for coaches, consultants, and course creators that help you get your product in front of more people, start nurturing relationships, and turning those people into customers so that you're not just putting information and posts out there with hopes and a prayer that they're going to turn into actual sales. So if you're new to the channel, I would love for you to hit subscribe so that you're notified every time I release a new video and you don't miss any of these great tools that are going to help you generate more revenue in your business and make your life a whole lot easier. So let's dive into this week's episode. I thought it was really important that we talk about how to utilize email to monetize some of the relationships that we're building with our email. And email is so good at this because it helps us differentiate ourselves from all the other people out there. And it gives us the opportunity to have a one-on-one conversation with the people on our list, which is tip number 1 or advice number 1, which is email marketing helps you to create and build trust with new people. You may have people that you have met in real life at maybe a networking event or that you've spoke to in front of a speaking event. And so they've had some exposure to you. But if you're trying to go after what's called a cold audience, a group of people who have never heard of you before, you have to take some time to build a relationship with them, because it doesn't just go from, hi, how you doing, to buy my stuff. Most people don't operate that way. And so when you are building a relationship and you're standing, you're showing up in front of them and you're delivering content, and you are showing up as yourself, creating conversation and telling stories. Like, I love the storytelling aspect of emails. People that can tell really good stories in their emails do very, very well. Because 1, it shows who you are, it shares your personality. And I have found when I have just told just random stories in my emails, that's what people reach out to me about. That's what they comment on, they respond to, and what they remember. If you think back to when you were, even as an adult or a little kid, when people would tell you a story, versus just sharing with you facts and information, you're more likely to remember the story than anything else in the conversation. So when we get engaged with our storytelling and we share bits and pieces about our lives and examples of what we've gone through a story, people are more likely to remember that. And so how can you bring story into your email marketing, and how can you have that resonate and connect back to the next step of your sales funnel? So an example of this is that recently I told a story in one of my emails that I sent out to my list about my aunt and about having to make changes. And she has lived in her house for 48 years, and that how everything came together with her buying and selling her house within a 1 week period was nothing short of a miracle. So I told this whole story of my aunt and how ultimately the sale of her house came down to knowing other people and having relationships. And I tied it back to, shockingly enough, creating relationships in your email marketing. And it is one of the best ways for you to get in front of your people, stay in front of your people, and let them get to know you, so that they are more comfortable with you. They have trust in you. And then the best part of all is once they become a customer and you continue to nurture them with your email, they tell other people about you, and it makes your life so much easier. So in order to, start building that trust and creating that conversation, you have to have them on your list, and you have to start sharing who you are more authentically in your emails. And a lot of people don't feel comfortable with that. But it's something that comes with practice. And so I am going to encourage you to put yourself out there in your email. So tip number one is to start to build trust and a relationship with your people through your email marketing. So my suggestion number 2 is to start putting customized content out to your audience. And this is really powerful because if you have your audience self-select through an email sequence that enables them to choose the areas of interest that they're focused on, then you can create custom content for those people that basically says, hey, I know you're interested in this, and so I created this for you. And they're going to go, what? Because 90% of people are not going to take the effort to do that. Now, does that mean you have to sit there and create tons and tons of content? No, it means that you filter out the specific areas of your business that they might be interested in, and you're creating content for those areas anyway. It means you can direct previous content that you've created to them and get more eyeballs on it. And so, for example, if you were a restaurateur and you had seasonal menus, what you could do is create content around those seasonal menus that you repeat every season. So in the spring, maybe it's a salmon asparagus entree that you've created for your audience, and it was a huge hit. And so maybe you create some content about behind the scenes and how you create it and where you get the salmon if you're in a landlocked state, and where you get the freshest salmon if you're not in a landlocked state, and how to choose the asparagus so it's not woody or hard, and how to cook it so that it's not soggy and gross. You get the idea. And then the menu changes for the summer, because your summer foods that are in season are going to be different, and your restaurant menu is likely going to feature those foods because they're readily available. So that's just a quick example of how you can customize if they're interested in spring menu, or they're interested in salmon, or they're versus buffalo, or they're interested, or bison, or if they're interested more in like farm to table, or if they're more into like comfort food. That's, hamburgers and fries, American food, that kind of stuff. So you can give them the option to choose the things that they're interested in that you feature on your menu. And then when you have new content about those, or new contests, or something like that going on, then they get that featured content. So one example, this is we have a really great ice cream place here in where I live in Colorado, and they have an ice cream truck, but they do not utilize the ice cream truck in the winter, of course, because it's cold and most people don't want ice cream. And so what they promote in the winter, in the colder months, is their candy store. They have a candy store that's attached to the ice cream store. Pretty brilliant. And they feature all of like the old school candies that we grew up with that you can't find anywhere anymore. And so, but when summer comes, they bring out the ice cream truck. And so what they do is they promote it to local neighborhoods. And so they promote it within the neighborhood, but then they also promote it on social media and through their email list saying, hey, the ice cream truck is back. These are the flavors we're going to feature this week. Meet us here, here, or here. And they give the days and times and the location of where they're going to be. And so that is another example, because people that are interested in the ice cream truck can sign up for that email and find out when the ice cream truck is going to be in their neighborhood. Now, it worked really well for them last year, specifically during COVID, because nobody could go into the location. They could just go and get pickup, which is really hard for an ice cream store because most people just want an ice cream cone. And so it's just one more way they can deliver the content that is specific to their audience and of interest. So another idea for them would be they have specific candies that are available seasonally or different holidays that they promote, like for Halloween, if you wanted to get special candy for, say, a friend or a family member, or maybe for a birthday party, you could easily customize your content around, hey, this week we're featuring Smarties, this week we're featuring Sixlets, or whatever it might be, and tell the story behind, why that candy was created, when it was popular, why the new generation should try it now. You get the idea. And so when you deliver that customized content and it's stuff that people are interested in, they're going to be more likely to open your email, click on the link, and engage in conversation and feedback with you. And so anytime we can do that and deliver something of value to them in that content, they're going to just think you're the bee's knees. And so we always want to make things as customized as possible, because we live in a world that is kind of content overload. And so it becomes really critical for us to create content that people have an interest in and that is different from everybody else out there, because you are having more of a conversation with people when you are putting your content out there, because it's something they specifically have said, hey, I have an interest in this area. So you focus on those 3 to 4 areas for your business, and then let your audience choose which area is the most significant to them. And so that is tip number 3, or tip number 2. Tip number 3 is, this is the hardest one for everybody, which is why I have an upcoming challenge coming up, and I haven't announced it yet. So if you guys are watching this video, you're the first to know, but it is consistency. And I get it. Writing emails every week is not the easiest thing. You have a lot of things going on in your business. But one of the things that can really be helpful is if you batch out those emails for a specific time period. So whether that's a month or a quarter or whatever, and you just get them ready to go, and you spend an hour or an hour and a half every month planning out and writing your emails. It shouldn't take you longer than that. The emails don't need to be novels, and scheduling them so they're ready to go out. But what makes it so powerful to show up consistently, and why I get on the consistency bandwagon, is 90% of people don't do it. They don't send regular emails. You get on their list, you might go through a sequence, and then you never hear from them again until they're selling something. And then they wonder why it isn't working. Well, emails that people that send out their emails consistently are training their audience to open those emails. And then when they add a call to action at the bottom, whether it is subscribe to my YouTube channel, watch this video, follow me on social media, or buy my product, you are training people to click on that link. And when they click on those links, when it comes to you selling your product, they are in the habit of clicking on that link, which leads them even closer to purchasing from you. So when you are consistent, you show up, they remember who you are always in their face. They might get sick of you, but they're going to know who you are and what you do, and they're going to remember you when it comes time for them to need your solution. And so when we can show up consistently, and we can make time to show up consistently, we are going to have a much more effective return on our investment for our email marketing, but also we're going to have higher sales and higher conversion rates for our email. So some ways to be consistent are to prepare your subscribers in advance to how often you're going to be emailing them, the types of emails you're going to send, and you can do all of that on your thank you page. When they sign up, you can just say, hey, I send emails this often, this is what's in them, blah, 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 and set expectations. Because when we set expectations for our audience, then they know. So if you're going to email every single day, set an expectation with your audience. They're going to be getting emails from you every day. If they don't want those, then give them the option to choose once a week or once a month or whatever, or, whatever their likenesses, because there's nothing more frustrating than signing up for an email list and then you start getting emails every single day, because that's what the online store has decided that you should get. And so I immediately go in and change my subscription settings, because I don't need an email from anybody every day that is selling me something, and most people don't. So when you prepare them and you tell them, here's what you can expect. You're going to get an email every Wednesday from me, and this is the type of information that's going to be in it. And I look forward to connecting with you. They're ready. They're expecting that email. And then when you stay in front of them, you continue to market to them, because good marketing is just an exercise in memorization, keeping it's top of mind who you are, what you do, and how you can help them. And you will automatically generate more sales from that. So the other things you can do is, when you send emails, ask for feedback, whether you have a hit reply or tell me in my Facebook community or send me a direct message, whatever it might be. When you ask for feedback, it will 100% differentiate you from everybody else, because most people just don't do it. And it also starts that conversation. And when you can create conversation, you can have talking points back and forth, and they feel like you're treating them as a person, then you start to build more trust. And when you build more trust, it's more likely they're going to buy from you. And then the last key point on this I want to make is clean your email list regularly, because unsubscribes really are a good thing. And I have a whole episode on that. People get really afraid of people unsubscribing, but we forget that when we're building out our sales funnel, it's a funnel. And so everybody that's at the top there's going to be a lot more people up here, and then they're going to filter down. And then these are going to be the true people at the tip of the funnel that are going to end up being your customers. You can't serve everybody that would possibly come into your funnel anyway, and not everybody's going to be a good fit for you. So be okay with them unsubscribing. But when you clean your email list, it keeps your email list healthy, and you're putting the right content in front of your people. So stay tuned for that upcoming episode on how to clean your list and why it's important, and all the goodies that's coming up in a few more episodes. And then I always like to give you an email tip or a bonus tip. And so the bonus tip for this week is to keep it simple, smarty. And you are an expert in your business. You have spent hours and probably years or even more perfecting your craft. And so a lot of times when we start to create marketing materials or we start to create emails, we are in business mode and we use language that our audience doesn't understand, or we use too many words, or we're dropping industry terms that are not, normal for us to understand. And when we do that, all we do is confuse our audience, and people are busy, they're distracted, and they are not going to take time to decipher your emails. So if you can keep it super simple for your audience and only give them one or two things to focus on, and use language that is either at a third or a fourth grade level, you are going to kill it every time. And you may be thinking, I hear this comment often. My clients will say to me, my audience is really smart. I don't want to use words that, make them feel dumb. It really is the opposite effect. I tell them, yes, your audience is smart. They're smart about what they're good at, but they're not necessarily smart about what you're good at. And so when you start to use those terms and those acronyms and all those things that you're really familiar with, and they don't know what they are, you have effectively made them feel dumb. And they're not going to take the time to go Google that term or figure out what you're talking about. They're just going to delete your email, walk away from your marketing, and you've lost the opportunity to have a conversation with them. And so when you keep it super simple and you talk at a level that they can understand readily, easily, and quickly, you will have higher and higher success. So that's a wrap for this week for ACC TV. I would love for you to leave a comment below for which of these marketing tactics you're going to try for your email marketing, and then let me know how it goes, because I'm always open for feedback, and I would love to hear which tip worked the best for you. So one last thing, if you've enjoyed this video, I would really love you to give it a thumbs up or click the like button, because it really does make a difference for you engaging on these videos, and I appreciate you staying with me till the end. So in the meantime, I will see you next week, and I hope you stay well, be healthy, and take care.